Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another episode here with No Name Trapper. Today's video is going to be about the number one most effective set on my Trapline. This is a trap set that I can put in under 30 seconds. It requires no bait, lure, urine, or any other attractant. It also requires no tools except for a method of staking and a trap. And you can catch any animal, almost any animal in your state that travels these trails. It's a very effective set. I'm going to show you, I'll slow it down and show you the mechanics of it and then show you the set itself. Alright guys and gals, so the first thing to learning this set that we need to discuss is when you get the trap in, doesn't matter if it's a brand new or a used trap, you need a loose pan. You need to make the pan to where it's floppy. And so as I've shown in other videos, you just loosen up this bolt with the nut just enough to where the pan becomes floppy, like that. Okay, that's a floppy pan. So that's the first step, is make sure you have a floppy pan. And this is a Duke 1.5 double jaw. This is what I started out with, not a double jaw. I started out with 1.5 Victor long spring, and then as soon as I could, I switched to a 1.5 Duke, not double jaw, because they didn't sell those, or at least I didn't have access to those at that time. But make sure you got a floppy pan. So that's how you adjust those. So that's step one. Alright guys, so step two is understanding how to trigger hair set your trap. Now you see here where the pan connects with the dog. Okay, so trigger hair setting that is where you pull the pan down as much as you can without firing it off. You see how it's just barely on that right there? That is trigger hair setting. That way when the foot comes down and contacts the pan, the trap fires off immediately. Okay, so when an animal's walking, that downward motion and a loose pan and a trigger hair set like that is going to fire that trap while it's coming down, because that happens so quick, you know, and just a blink. So you want that to fire just right now. Alright, so these things I'm showing you are to get you deep catches, good deep foot catches. These steps will help get you that. Okay, so the third step, and I'll have to show you this one. Alright guys, so we're going to pretend that this long stick here is the raccoon trail, or whatever trail you're trapping. Okay, whatever trail you're setting on, this is it. So, what you need to think about when making this set is how animals walk and how you want that trap to fire up on them. And this is where it gets a little weird, because a lot of guys run their jaws like this. Okay, well, I want this trap to fire straight up. So if this is a raccoon trail, right, we're going to run our levers with the trail and our jaws side to side. And the reason being is because when that animal's walking down the trail and it steps on it, you want this trap to fire up, and the levers won't kick up the foot as much as if you have the jaws running side to side. That'll kick their foot out further before it latches down closed on them. So you want the levers with the trail. Okay, and this is just a, well, it's just a common kind of physics thing to think about with blind setting. You're not trying to get them to work the set. They're already traveling down the trail, walking, right? And so there's a lot less bedding the trap and all that stuff going on, but the main thing is loose pan, trigger hair set with the dog, and run the levers with the trail. And that's going to get you your deep catch. Alright guys, here's just a standard Iowa raccoon trail. You can see they're coming from corn to corn behind me. That'll change a little bit when corn gets combined, but nonetheless, you see the typical raccoon trail right here. Alright guys, so I broke the trap open on my knee and set it. It took me about, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. And then the only other thing you're going to do, see the trails here, it's a little hard to see just because it's not a real booming trail yet. But you're going to set the trap down on a flat area, right like that. That's what you're going to do. Then you're just going to pull some grass clippings over here from the side and just break up the outline of this. That's the set, guys. I usually stake over here off the side. That keeps the chain from getting kicked or stepped on or messed with, because a raccoon tends to, if they feel something, they're going to move it. Kind of like the same principle in the water for water trappers. They'll shove it down in the mud. Well, this time, on dry land, I just pull the chain off the side and stake off the side. But there's our set right there, guys. 1.5 blind set. And anything that walks this trail is going to get caught in that. It doesn't need no food, no lure, no nothing required. That raccoon doesn't even have to be hungry. Maybe he's just walking back to his, to his den tree or something. Boom, we're going to get him. It's a fast set. You've seen how quick I put that in, and that's filming it and describing it to you guys. So let's go with the common question. I get this question a lot. Well, what if a coyote's traveling that trail? If you guys watched me last season, I was catching coyotes in 1.5s. It's not a huge deal. However, if I do feel like it's more of a coyote or a bobcat or an otter trail, mainly a coyote or like a spotted otter would get run down the trail, I'll just do this. I'll make that exact same set, but with like a 1 3/4 Duke. This is a 1 3/4 Duke offset. Loose pan, same situation. Boom, we upgraded the size. We're set to catch bigger animals, right? Yeah, it's pretty simple. Switch out for a hint bigger trap. Now, with that being said, there's some thoughts that need to go into this too. Now, on a blind set trail, guys, the biggest foothold I'm going to run is a 1 3/4. The reason being about that, I seen, a video where Clint Lock Clears mentioned running 2s and 3s on blind set trails. I wouldn't do that. Not here in Iowa. What you're going to do is you're going to create a lot of damage on a lot of animals, and a lot of them are going to get away. You see here the double jaw. Okay, a raccoon caught in this will tend not to chew or twist off because of the double jaw underneath the jaws itself. Okay, there's a small gap there. Okay, so that is a good thing. That's double jaw is a very good blind set trap. I don't care brand or whatever, a double jaw is a great blind set trap. Now the thing to remember is this gap here. Alright, here's a 1 3/4. You have a much bigger gap between the pan and the jaw. Okay, so 1 3/4 seems to work pretty okay for me. If you go up any more to like a 2 or a 3 blind setting in ditches, you get into a lot of issues with damage. I'm not going to go over that in extent, but I've got years and years of blind setting to back my opinion on that. I do not miss very often, and when I do, it's usually because I was lazy and I didn't make sure it was not bedded solid. Well, yeah, bedded solid. You want to wiggle it sometimes, make sure it doesn't move if they don't step right on the pan. The only time I miss is typically when I'm being lazy and it bites me in the butt. Okay, so I recommend a 1.5 and a 1 3/4 size trap I've ran the Bridger 165s. They work great, except the pans are crap. They're so skinny. I like the Bridger 1.5s. I like the Duke 1.5s, especially the double jaw. The No BS 1.5 double jaw or laminated is great. The Duke 1 3/4 is a great trap for these, for the ones where you think you got coyotes or otters traveling. Just a little more holding power. So, anyways, that's the thoughts on today's video. I appreciate you guys. Season's almost here. We're going to have a few more of these videos, and then season's going to start. So, tight chains. Thanks for watching, guys.
Got an outdoor edge, catch critters and catfish.